you may find yourself slipping into these negative mind states, these negative states of mind where you are literally doubting yourself, you're doing negative self-talk, and you feel less confident, you feel less strong, you feel less masculine. And that's the exact opposite of what you want. You want to feel strong. You want to feel capable. You want to feel powerful. You want to feel as though you are on top of the world. But sometimes, because we're all human, you're going to get in social situations or in certain scenarios that will kind of put you subconsciously, you will slip down into a lower social hierarchy or something like that because of what you perceive going on around you. And this is even more true if you're struggling with depression or anxiety or social anxiety or autism, especially autism, the spectrum and all that. If you didn't know what I've been diagnosed with Asperger's, so I'm on the spectrum basically. And I deal with these things literally all the time where, let's just give you an example. Let's just say I go, I'm at the grocery store. This rarely ever happens at the grocery store, ever. But it's just an example. I go to the grocery store, I'm checking out, and the person, like the cashier or the lady or the dude, whoever it is, they aren't really being so friendly. They're being kind of neutral, but my mind will mistake neutral for negative. So the funny thing is, I was in the gym today and I was doing my workout and everything, and for some reason, I don't know why, and and see, it takes a real man to admit stuff, you know what I'm saying? I don't like to admit this, but I felt a little intimidated, a little bit, just a little. It's a little intimidated. I don't know why. I don't feel like anybody was trying to intimidate me or make me feel less than or, or be rude to me or anything. But sometimes I can mistake a neutral atmosphere for like unwelcoming. Like it'll seem unwelcoming for me, And as a result, I've noticed this is when I start to slip back into these negative thought patterns. Even though the person didn't do it or say anything, I'll kind of assume subconsciously, right? And in the moment, I'll start losing confidence in myself. And when I was younger, when I was like, 12 or 16, maybe even 20, before I really started working on myself, I gotta crack my back. Oh yeah. Yeah. Before I started working on myself, I would literally get trapped in that negative thought pattern. But now I can recognize that I'm in that thought pattern. Now, the reason that I'm telling this story is because I know a lot of guys struggle with social anxiety and like a lack of confidence, and they look at their body or they look at their appearance or they look at anything that's physical, and they kind of assume that that's their only issue or that's their main issue or something like that, or their situation, their financial situation, or they're broke or they're retarded, like slow or something like that. They think negatively of themselves. But it's not actually the physical. It's not actually, your physique. Like, there's guys who are bigger than me, who have way more muscle than I have. And even I get a little a tad bit insecure about myself, about my fucking physique, just a little bit. I got to remind myself that I got to remind myself that everyone has a different story and everyone is different. And just because, you have more muscle or whatever doesn't mean anything. But I think for me, what it really does, it kind of makes me feel like I haven't really been putting in work on myself like that. But like I said, everyone's different. You can't, you may look at somebody who's taller than you, and you're like, oh man, I wish I was that tall. I wish I was that fit. And the thing is, you got to kind of accept yourself for who you are, for like where you are right now in your life. Because a lot of guys want to start working on themselves, but they want to start when they get in shape, when they look the way they want to look. But you have to start where you are right now. Because these negative thought patterns, we get trapped, we get trapped into all these negative thought cycles, and these things make us less confident, and we treat ourselves like we talk shit to ourselves. We talk a bunch of negativity, right? And then we showcase that to the world. We literally showcase those negative emotions to the world, and they start treating us as such. And this is such a hard thing to really grasp. I know my mind has a really hard time processing things. It takes my mind such a long time to really get over things, to let things go. But whenever you feel yourself, like you sense yourself slipping into that mindset, you have to be aware of it. You got to, first of all, the first step is to literally be aware. Be aware that you're talking to yourself negatively. Be aware that you are on this negative, oh, I'm a loser, I'm fat, I'm skinny, I'm not fit enough, whatever it is. You got to be aware that you are talking to yourself like that. And then you have to manually impregnate positive thoughts into your mind. A little quirky, right? Anyways, you got to literally manually implant positivity in your mind. You got to say things like, I'm not saying to lie to yourself and say you're 6 foot tall or something like that. But what I'm saying is you got to be like, okay, I'm the athlete full of testosterone. I'm a charismatic individual. You got to start saying these things to yourself. Because once you say it enough, you begin to believe it. And it don't happen overnight. You don't change your mindset. You don't change how you think overnight. It happens over time. So what a lot of guys do, they only work on their physiques. And they're still assholes. They're still assholes. They're still a fucking douchebag. They're not really great people like that. If you're only working on your physique or your money or your status or trying to get more women or whatever, and you're not working on your internals, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Because what's most important, it's not about you getting fit. It's not about you getting in shape. It's about you coming to peace. You having peace with yourself. Having peace with I'm not saying to have peace to the point where you don't try to change things. But you can't hate yourself into change. Now, you can motivate yourself with anger and sadness and depression for maybe 3 months, maybe a little while, but that shit's gonna run out. That shit is literally going to run the fuck out. What's way better is positivity, positive emotions of joy and peace. And the way you achieve this is through meditation, journaling, gratitude journaling. And when you're gratitude journaling, you're manually focusing on positivity, good things going on in your life. And if you don't feel like you have anything to be grateful for, slap yourself in the fucking face, bro. You're a fucking disgrace. You do have things to be grateful for. Your fucking heart is beating. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? You have a roof over your head. You have functioning arms and legs. You can see. You can hear. You know how to speak. Do I need to keep going? You have a job, right? You literally have a fucking phone. That's how you're watching this video or computer. Stop fucking complaining. You know what I'm saying? And then things like affirmations. These things make such a huge difference. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I haven't been meditating in a while. I haven't really been working on myself, like, mentally. So I'm guilty of this too, you know? But today, this morning, I made sure I meditated. I made sure I started reading this book I really want to read. And I'm going to get to the gratitude journaling. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to hop on that. If you really want to improve yourself, you got to improve your internal. You got to improve your mental. You got to improve the way you think, your mindset. You got to improve your mindset. Because once you slip back into that negative self-talking bullshit and you start, you know, putting yourself down and all that, you are then operating at a low frequency, a low vibration. In order to self-improve, become the best version of yourself, you want to operate at a high vibration, at a high frequency. That's the problem with a lot of these fucking, you know, YouTubers and shit. They think that, you know, oh, we gotta be mad, angry, oh, like, nah, it ain't like that. You gotta operate at a high frequency. And the way that you raise your vibration, that you raise your frequency, your energy, is by meditation and journaling and literally just figuring out who you are. And that's literally my journey. That's literally what I'm doing right now, trying to figure out who I am. And I'm on the gym journey my damn self. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get bigger and swole. There's no limit to how swole you can get, at least in my eyes. Somebody gonna spew out some dumb genetics crap or whatever, or say something crazy, you know, but it's really all in your belief. You got to believe you can do it. And while I was feeling that way in the gym, I'm gonna tell you a little story. While I was feeling the way I was feeling, you know what I'm saying, I don't know why I felt like lower for some reason, some odd reason, you know. I said, I'm about to fucking train hard. I'm about to get my abs right. You know what I did? I literally had a ab, like, cramp. You ever had like a abdominal cramp, like in your abs? That shit is crazy. I was doing bicycle crunches. And man, that thing was bad. My abdomen was looking funny. You know how you got the abs, you got the, you know, you got, my shit was looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's all right now, but I think I trained my abs on Monday, and I trained them kind of yesterday too. I was doing some type of I forgot what you call it. It's like a calisthenics move where you're lifting your legs all the way up and you're basically going upside down in the air, like, you know, and you holding yourself up, the pull-up bar or something like that. So that might be why. And then I didn't really warm them up good enough either. You have to believe in yourself. Somebody, like, from a long time ago told me, bro, you got to believe in yourself, bro. You literally got to believe in yourself. Because when I was going through what I was going through, my situation, when I was drinking all that alcohol, when I was getting drunk every single day, I lost confidence. When I was literally gooning all the time, I literally lost confidence in myself. Man, it, like, having no confidence in yourself really fucking sucks. I was going through a breakup, dude. Like, literally. That shit fucking sucks, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I'm gonna tell you what literally made the difference. What literally made the difference. It was like night and day. I'm gonna tell you. Focus. I focused on something positive. I focused on something I wanted to build. I found, like, a purpose. This is like, it's a different thing that I'm doing now, you know, from now, right? But I basically wanted to build something up. And I became spiritual. And I started this fucking YouTube channel. You know, I started meditating. I developed my relationship with God. I started, you know, praying. And then I started journaling and stuff like that. Gratitude journaling and reading. And on top of that, I was going to the gym and bulking, you know, building muscle. And that is what made the difference. So that's why I'm telling you, this gym shit and getting fit is nothing unless you work on your mental health. Unless you work on your internal state, your mindset. When you have one of these moments, make sure that you manually plant positive thoughts into your mind. Believe in yourself and be confident. Be strong in who you are, because you have to remember that you are enough, you are worthy, and God don't make no junk. All right? So keep that in mind. And sometimes you're going to have people around you that try to put you down, but that's another video. That's a whole nother video. Until then, my name's Raheem, the GOAT. Like, comment, subscribe. Never give up. Your younger self's rooting for you. Peace.